Do you feel the echo of stiffness in your morning steps, a whisper of discomfort in your hands? These are not mere signs of passing years, but quiet alarms. For hidden in plain sight, on your very plate, may lie seemingly innocent foods that could be betraying your body's harmony. Many ignore these subtle dietary foes, only to face irreversible joint damage later. Understanding the last part, the true alternatives, is essential for reclaiming your comfort and freedom. Silent aggressors. We live in an age where information about healthy eating surrounds us, yet often the very foods we believe are nourishing us can contain elements that, for some, particularly as we pass the threshold of 60 years, may begin to silently aggravate the delicate balance within our joints. It is a subtle process, not an immediate affront, but a gradual wearing down, like water slowly eroding stone. Our joints, these marvelous articulations that grant us movement and grace, can become battlegrounds for inflammation, a natural bodily response that, when chronic, turns from a healing friend into a persistent foe. This inflammation can be fueled by many factors: life's accumulated stresses, physical imbalances, but also, quite significantly, by the compounds present in certain everyday foods, foods often lauded for their general health benefits, but which carry a hidden facet for sensitive individuals or aging systems. It is not my intention to create fear around food, for food is life, nourishment, and joy. Rather, it is to cultivate awareness, to bring a discerning eye to what we choose to build our bodies with, especially as our internal landscape shifts with time. The concept of destroying is a strong one, perhaps, but it serves to awaken us to the potential gravity of making uninformed choices day after day, year after year. Think of it less as destruction and more as a consistent undermining of the joint's natural capacity for repair and pain-free function. Certain plant compounds, while offering benefits to some, can trigger inflammatory pathways or irritate the sensitive tissues within the joints of others. This is not a universal condemnation of these vegetables for all people at all times, but a specific consideration for those over 60 experiencing joint discomfort, those whose bodies may have developed sensitivities, or whose reparative mechanisms are no longer as robust as they once were. The wisdom lies in listening deeply to our own bodies, observing how we feel after consuming different foods, and complementing this inner knowing with the understanding that science is increasingly offering us. For what may be a vibrant source of nutrients for one individual could be a source of persistent low-grade irritation for another. This understanding calls for a personalized approach, a mindful selection rather than a blanket acceptance of all that is green or grows from the earth as uniformly beneficial for every system at every stage of life. The aim is to achieve harmony, to reduce the burden on our joints, allowing them to function with ease and fluidity. This requires us to look beyond the surface, to understand the subtle chemistry of foods and how they interact with our unique physiology. It is a path of gentle refinement, not drastic restriction, a way of supporting our body's innate desire for balance and well-being through conscious, informed choices on our plate. This path begins with identifying those potential silent aggressors. Remember, the body speaks in whispers before it shouts. A little morning stiffness, a twinge after certain activities, a feeling of heat or subtle swelling. These are the whispers. By understanding what might be contributing to these signals, we can adjust our course, replacing potential irritants with foods that actively soothe, nourish, and support the intricate structures of our joints. This journey is not about deprivation, but about joyful, strategic substitution, leading to a life with less discomfort and more freedom of movement. We seek not to diminish our diet, but to refine it, enhancing its capacity to support our vibrant health for all our years. The path is one of discovery, finding what truly resonates with and supports your unique physical form, turning your daily meals into a source of healing and strength. Nightshade shadows. The first group of vegetables we must approach with mindful caution are the nightshades. This family includes common staples such as tomatoes, potatoes, though less so sweet potatoes, eggplants, and all varieties of peppers, from bell peppers to spicy chilies. For many, these are sources of valuable nutrients and culinary delight. However, for a notable portion of individuals, especially those with existing joint sensitivities or conditions like arthritis, nightshades can be problematic due to naturally occurring compounds called alkaloids, the most discussed of which is solanine. Solanine in susceptible individuals is thought by some researchers and clinicians to contribute to inflammation and pain in the joints. While the scientific evidence is not entirely conclusive for all people, the volume of anecdotal reports and the findings from certain studies warrant careful consideration, particularly when persistent joint discomfort is a concern after the age of 60. Imagine these alkaloid compounds as tiny irritants. For a system that is already inflamed or sensitive, they may exacerbate the condition, much like a rough cloth rubbing against already tender skin. The theory is that solanine can interfere with enzymes in the muscles and may cause calcium deposits in soft tissues, or perhaps it initiates an inflammatory cascade in those who are genetically predisposed or whose gut health might be compromised, allowing these compounds to have a more systemic effect. It's not an allergy in the typical sense for most, but rather a sensitivity that can manifest as increased stiffness, swelling, pain, or a general feeling of achiness in the joints hours, or even a day or two after consumption. This delayed reaction can sometimes make it difficult to pinpoint nightshades as the culprits without a period of careful elimination and reintroduction. It's also important to note that the concentration of these alkaloids can vary. For instance, solanine is found in higher concentrations in green or sprouting potatoes and in unripe tomatoes. Cooking does reduce solanine levels to some extent, but it may not eliminate them completely, so for highly sensitive individuals, even cooked nightshades can still pose a problem. If you experience chronic joint pain and regularly consume these vegetables, it may be a worthwhile experiment, under guidance if needed, to temporarily remove them from your diet for a period of, say, 3 to 4 weeks, and meticulously observe if your symptoms improve. Then, reintroduce them one at a time in small quantities to see if they trigger a return of your discomfort. This kind of personal experimentation, guided by awareness, is invaluable because our individual biochemistries are unique. This is not to say that everyone over 60 must banish tomatoes or peppers from their lives forever. Many people consume them without any issue. However, if you are actively seeking solutions for joint pain and unexplained inflammation, exploring your personal tolerance to nightshades is a scientifically reasonable step. The focus is on reducing the inflammatory load on your body. If these vegetables are contributing to that load, even in a small way, finding alternatives can be part of a larger strategy to soothe your joints and improve your quality of life. The knowledge itself is empowering, allowing you to make a conscious choice rather than unknowingly consuming something that might be hindering your well-being. It is about understanding the subtle power that food holds, for better or for worse, in the delicate ecosystem of our bodies, especially as they mature. The shadow of nightshades may only fall on some, but for those it does, stepping into the light of alternative choices can bring significant relief. Oxalate overload. The next consideration for joint health as we age relates to certain green leafy vegetables that, while packed with many beneficial nutrients, are also very high in compounds called oxalates. Prime examples include spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens, and rhubarb. Oxalates are naturally occurring substances found in many plants, and for most people, they are processed and eliminated without issue. However, for individuals who are sensitive to oxalates or who consume them in very large quantities, perhaps in daily green smoothies packed with raw spinach, or for those with certain pre-existing conditions like kidney stones, as calcium oxalate stones are common, or compromised gut function, high oxalate intake can potentially contribute to problems, including joint pain. This occurs because oxalates can bind with calcium in the body, forming tiny, sharp calcium oxalate crystals. These crystals can deposit in various tissues, including the joints, where they may cause irritation, inflammation, and pain, mimicking or exacerbating conditions like gout or arthritis. Think of these tiny crystals as microscopic shards of glass. If they accumulate in the synovial fluid or tissues of the joints, they can cause physical irritation and trigger an inflammatory response. While our bodies have mechanisms to deal with oxalates, an overload, particularly in an aging system where kidney function might be less efficient or where underlying inflammation is already present, can tip the balance. It's not that spinach is inherently bad, it's a wonderfully nutritious food for many. The issue is one of quantity, frequency, individual sensitivity, and preparation. Consuming vast amounts of raw, high oxalate greens day in and day out might be pushing the system too hard for some individuals over 60. This is especially true if hydration is inadequate, as good hydration helps to flush oxalates from the system. Interestingly, how these vegetables are prepared can significantly affect their oxalate content. Boiling or steaming high oxalate greens and discarding the cooking water can reduce their oxalate levels substantially, often by 30% to as much as 80–90% for some greens. So if you love spinach but suspect it might be contributing to joint issues, opting for well-cooked spinach rather than raw and consuming it in moderation as part of a varied diet might be a more prudent approach. Fermentation can also reduce oxalate levels in some foods. Again, this points to the wisdom of traditional food preparation methods, which often included techniques that naturally reduced anti-nutrients or potentially irritating compounds. If you experience joint pain, particularly if it feels sharp or crystalline, and you consume large amounts of high oxalate foods, it could be a contributing factor. Like with nightshades, a period of reduced intake coupled with an increase in hydration and perhaps the incorporation of cooking methods that lower oxalate content could be a useful experiment. This isn't about eliminating all greens. Many leafy greens are lower in oxalates and offer immense benefits. Think of romaine lettuce, kale. When cooked, its oxalate level is moderate and it becomes more available. Arugula or collard greens. The key is balance, variety, and understanding that even superfoods need to be consumed with awareness of their potent compounds and how they interact with your individual system. For those susceptible, reducing an oxalate overload can be a crucial step in calming joint inflammation and finding relief, allowing the body's natural healing processes to work more effectively. This mindful approach can help turn your diet from a potential source of irritation into a powerful tool for joint comfort. Inflammatory oils. Our third area of focus shifts slightly from whole vegetables to a common derivative of a particular vegetable, corn, and more broadly, the highly processed vegetable oils that are often rich in omega-6 fatty acids and are pervasive in the modern diet. While corn itself in its whole unprocessed form can be part of a healthy diet for many, the issue for joint health often arises from the overconsumption of corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, and cottonseed oil, all of which are very high in omega-6 linoleic acid. Our bodies need omega-6 fatty acids. They are essential. However, the problem lies in the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. Historically, human diets had a ratio closer to 1.1 or 2.1 omega-6 to omega-3. Today, with the prevalence of processed foods and the widespread use of these refined vegetable oils in cooking and manufacturing, that ratio can be as high as 15.1 or even 20.1 in many Western diets. This profound imbalance is strongly pro-inflammatory. Think of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids as participants in a delicate dance that regulates inflammation in your body. Omega-3s generally lead to the production of anti-inflammatory compounds, helping to calm inflammation. Certain derivatives of omega-6s, especially when consumed in excess and without sufficient omega-3s to counterbalance them, can lead to the production of pro-inflammatory eicosanoids, signaling molecules that effectively ramp up inflammation throughout the body, including in the joints. For someone over 60, already potentially dealing with age-related inflammatory tendencies or arthritic conditions, this constant dietary push towards a pro-inflammatory state can significantly worsen joint pain, stiffness, and degeneration. It's like continually fanning the flames of a fire you are trying to put out. These refined vegetable oils are hidden in countless processed foods, baked goods, salad dressings, margarines, snack foods, fried foods, and are often used as cheap cooking oils. So even if you are not consciously pouring corn oil over your food, you might be consuming significant amounts without realizing it. Reading labels becomes crucial. The process of refining these oils also often involves high heat and chemical solvents, which can damage the delicate fats, creating trans fats or oxidized lipids that are even more detrimental to health and inflammatory. It's a far cry from the minimally processed, nutrient-rich fats our ancestors consumed. This isn't just about avoiding visible oils, it's about becoming aware of their presence in the broader food supply and making conscious choices to minimize their intake. Reducing the consumption of these high omega-6 processed vegetable oils and simultaneously increasing your intake of omega-3 rich foods is one of the most powerful dietary shifts you can make for joint health and overall anti-inflammatory living. This isn't about eliminating all fats. Healthy fats are crucial, but about choosing your fats wisely. This adjustment can help to rebalance your body's inflammatory signaling, reduce systemic inflammation, and provide significant relief for aching joints. By shifting away from these industrially produced oils that contribute to inflammation, you actively create an internal environment that is more conducive to joint comfort, healing, and long-term mobility. This mindful selection of fats can transform your diet from a source of chronic, low-grade inflammation into a potent, natural anti-inflammatory tool. Soothing sustenance. Having identified potential dietary aggressors that may contribute to joint discomfort, the truly uplifting part of our journey is to explore the abundance of foods that can actively soothe, nourish, and rebuild the delicate tissues of our joints. This is not about restriction, but about joyful replacement, embracing a way of eating that supports fluidity and ease of movement. The cornerstone of a joint-friendly diet is its anti-inflammatory nature. We want to choose foods that calm the body's inflammatory responses, provide the building blocks for cartilage repair, and protect against oxidative stress, which can accelerate joint degeneration. One of the most powerful groups of foods in this regard includes those rich in omega-3 fatty acids. We spoke of the imbalance with omega-6. Correcting this means intentionally bringing in more omega-3s. Excellent sources include fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and anchovies, if your dietary path includes them. For plant-based sources, consider flax seeds, ground, chia seeds, and walnuts. These foods provide EPA and DHA from fish or ALA from plants, which the body can convert in limited amounts to EPA and DHA, all of which have potent anti-inflammatory effects. Another category of true healing foods are herbs and spices known for their remarkable anti-inflammatory properties. Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, is a veritable superstar. Curcumin has been extensively studied for its ability to quell inflammatory pathways, sometimes as effectively as certain medications but without the side effects. Combining turmeric with a pinch of black pepper significantly enhances curcumin absorption. Ginger is another potent anti-inflammatory, excellent for reducing pain and stiffness. It can be used fresh in cooking, teas, or taken as a supplement. Cinnamon, cloves, and rosemary also possess significant anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Incorporating these spices generously into your daily cooking is a simple yet profound way to support joint health. Think of them as daily medicine disguised as delicious flavor, Colorful fruits and vegetables, particularly berries, are packed with antioxidants like anthocyanins, which give them their rich red, blue, and purple hues. These compounds combat oxidative stress, which is a key player in the aging of joint tissues. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and cherries, especially tart cherries, have all been shown to have anti-inflammatory benefits and may help reduce symptoms of arthritis and gout. Choose a wide variety of colors in your fruits and vegetables to ensure a broad spectrum of protective phytonutrients. And when it comes to greens, while we exercise caution with very high oxalate ones, if sensitive, other greens like well-cooked kale, collard greens, and broccoli are fantastic. Broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables contain sulforaphane, a compound with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects that can help protect cartilage. Finally, do not underestimate the importance of bone broth if it aligns with your dietary choices. Slowly simmered bones release collagen, glucosamine, chondroitin, and various amino acids, all of which are critical building blocks for cartilage and connective tissue. Consuming bone broth regularly may help to provide the raw materials your body needs to repair and maintain joint structures. For those seeking plant-based options, foods rich in vitamin C, like citrus fruits, bell peppers if tolerated, and kiwi, are vital as vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis. Also, foods containing sulfur, such as garlic, onions, and leeks, support tissue repair. Hydration is also paramount. Water helps to keep cartilage lubricated and supple. By consciously choosing these soothing, sustaining foods, you turn every meal into an opportunity to comfort your joints, reduce inflammation, and build a foundation for lasting mobility and well-being. This is the art of eating for a body that moves with ease and joy at any age. Conscious pathway. The journey to greater joint comfort and sustained mobility after 60 is not merely about avoiding certain foods and embracing others. It is about cultivating a conscious pathway in your relationship with nourishment itself. It is an invitation to listen more deeply to the unique wisdom of your own body, to observe with gentle awareness how different foods make you feel, and to make choices that honor your evolving needs. This is not a rigid set of rules to be followed blindly, but guiding principles to empower you to become an active participant in your own well-being. The scientific insights we explore are valuable tools, but they find their truest application when integrated with your personal experience and intuition. No book or guide knows your body as intimately as you do. Embrace the concept of mindful eating. Before you eat, take a moment to appreciate the food, its colors, its origins. Eat slowly, chew thoroughly, and pay attention to your body's signals of hunger and fullness. This not only aids digestion, but also allows you to better discern how specific foods are affecting your system. Keep a food and symptom journal if you suspect certain foods are triggering joint discomfort. Note what you eat and any changes in your joint pain, stiffness, or energy levels over the next few hours or days. This practice can reveal patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed, guiding your personal dietary refinements. This is your personal science, your inner laboratory of discovery. Remember that change is a gradual process. If you decide to eliminate or reduce certain foods, do so gently. If you are introducing new, healing foods, incorporate them with joy and anticipation. Perfection is not the goal. Consistent, mindful effort is. There will be times when you eat foods that are not ideal, and that is part of life. The key is to make health-supportive choices the vast majority of the time, creating a baseline of well-being that can accommodate occasional deviations. Cultivate a mindset of nourishment over restriction. Focus on the abundance of delicious, healing foods you can eat, rather than dwelling on what you are limiting. This positive framing makes the journey more enjoyable and sustainable. Finally, understand that diet, while profoundly impactful, is one part of a holistic approach to joint health. Gentle, regular movement appropriate for your body, like Tai Chi, swimming, or walking, adequate restorative sleep, stress management, and maintaining a healthy weight all play crucial roles in supporting your joints. These elements work synergistically, As you refine your diet to be more anti-inflammatory and joint supportive, you are creating an internal environment that allows your body's natural healing capacities to flourish. This conscious pathway, walked with patience and self-compassion, is one that leads not only to greater physical comfort, but also to a deeper sense of empowerment and harmony within yourself, allowing you to move through your days with vitality and grace. The path to vibrant joint health in our later years is illuminated by awareness, guided by science, and sustained by conscious daily choices. It is a testament to the profound connection between what we eat and how we live, offering us the power to nurture our bodies from within, fostering a life of movement, comfort, and peace. What's one small dietary change you've considered for your joint health that this made you think more deeply about? This content is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult a licensed healthcare provider before starting or stopping any health-related activity. This video does not claim to prevent, diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. The creator is not a medical professional. This content complies with YouTube's community guidelines and is not intended to promote dangerous or misleading health practices.